What would happen if life suddenly disappeared from Earth? Would the planet remain habitable, or would it quickly become hostile and barren? Scientists recently tried to answer this question using a detailed planetary simulation that removes every living organism from Earth. The results are surprising. The researchers built a model of Earth that excludes all biological processes. No plants, no animals, no microbes. In other words, a completely lifeless planet. Their goal was to understand whether life is necessary for a planet to remain habitable, or whether Earth-like conditions could exist even without living organisms. At first glance, it may seem obvious that life is essential for habitability. Plants produce oxygen. Microbes regulate chemical cycles. Oceans and ecosystems constantly reshape the atmosphere. However, the new model suggests that the basic conditions for habitability might exist even without biology. The simulation followed Earth's evolution for billions of years and examined how the atmosphere, oceans, and interior of the planet would behave in a lifeless state. Surprisingly, many key features of modern Earth could still appear naturally through geological processes. For example, the model showed that surface temperatures could remain within a range suitable for liquid water. Water itself would still exist on the surface and in the oceans, because its presence depends mainly on planetary physics, such as gravity and distance from the Sun, rather than on biology. This finding challenges a common assumption that life is required to maintain a stable climate. According to the researchers, the planet could still maintain relatively stable conditions through purely geological cycles involving volcanoes, rocks, and atmospheric chemistry. However, a lifeless Earth would not look the same as the one we know today. Without plants, the atmosphere would contain very little oxygen. Oxygen on modern Earth is largely produced by photosynthesis. Without that process, the air would likely be dominated by carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and other gases released by geological activity. The surface would also look very different. Forests, grasslands, and coral reefs would disappear. Instead, the planet would be dominated by deserts, bare rock, and oceans with no visible ecosystems. So why are scientists interested in such a strange scenario? The answer lies in the search for life beyond our planet. Astronomers are preparing new telescopes designed to analyze the atmospheres of distant worlds orbiting other stars. These instruments will look for chemical signs of life known as biosignatures. But to identify life on another planet, scientists first need to understand what a habitable planet without life would look like. If a planet can remain warm with liquid water even without biology, then detecting life becomes much more complicated. For example, a planet might appear habitable but still be completely sterile. Without a clear baseline, scientists could easily misinterpret atmospheric signals. That is why the new model is so important. By recreating Earth without life, researchers can establish a reference point for studying distant planets. When future telescopes observe rocky worlds around Sun like stars, scientists will be able to compare their atmospheres with this lifeless Earth model. The results suggest something both hopeful and humbling. A planet does not necessarily need life to remain habitable. But at the same time, life dramatically transforms a world once it appears. In other words, Earth may have been capable of supporting life long before life actually emerged. And once life arrived, it permanently changed the planet we call home.